Hi, this is Darla LeDoux. Welcome to Shift the Field TV. Today I'm talking about how to use your magic to bring truth into the space with your clients. And this is a surprise reason that many entrepreneurs in the coaching, consulting, healing space end up looking for someone outside of themselves to help save them from their business and come up with a magical solution that will change something because their business is feeling hard or heavy, or maybe it's plateaued. A lot of times, the reason that this is happening has nothing to do with the marketing message or the clients even, but it has to do with us as leaders and our ability to bring truth to the space. So here's what happens. An entrepreneur will sign up a new client. They'll be so excited. They seem ideal and they know they can help them. And then over time, that client isn't getting the result, or they become kind of challenging, right? And sooner or later, the practitioner, the coach starts to feel heavy when they think about getting on the call with that person. Maybe that person stops scheduling calls or starts avoiding the conversation. We don't know what to do here or how this happened. I just want to suggest that how this happens a lot of times is that as a guide, as a leader, we aren't trusting our magic and we aren't allowing our magic to bring the truth into the space. So in this next section of this video, I am going to walk through the 6 types of sourced magic and give you a little bit of information about how you can use that magic to bring the truth into the space with your client in a way that they have a chance to respond, feel it, be with it, and possibly even receive it in a way that totally transforms their energy field, their business, their life. Now, before we go into these examples, I just have to state that this conversation we're about to have about how to use your magic, what I call your sourced magic or your intuitive guidance to the space with your client in honor of them shifting their energy and getting to higher consciousness. The prerequisite to that is that the client is actually committed. They're committed to their own transformation. They're committed to seeing that truth that's hidden from their view. If they are not, let's say it's not a client, it's just a friend or an acquaintance, these aren't appropriate conversations to have without explicit consent. And if they are a client, you still may want to ask consent before sharing. So there's 6 types of sourced magic, and I'm going to walk through each and kind of what that might look like when you get to that point in a coaching conversation where they have released control and they're open and willing to see something about themselves that they haven't seen before. So let's imagine your sensation magic. By the way, you can take the magic quiz in the link below this video, as well as you can come play with me in person on retreat where we explore magic, and you can find that below this video as well. So sensation magic is feeling in your body the energy pattern that the client is actually holding. So when we have a truth, small t truth, that's actually based on a lie that we believed earlier in life, that creates a whole energy pattern physically in the body. Someone with a lot of sensation magic can pick up on the energy patterns and feel in their body what it's like to be in the body of their client. They can feel the energy that's going, hey, look at me, shift me. I'm the problem, it's me, right? And so if you're a practitioner and you have sensation magic firing, you may allow that sensation to feel and maybe even make a shape in your body. I feel like sometimes I'll be speaking with a client, I have a lot of sensation magic, and my shoulders will hunch like this, or my head will go down, or I'll start to look up to a side or feel a pain in a shoulder, etc. By the way, I design my offers now where I can do that and bring that forward, and it's received and makes sense, and it's part of what people hire me for. In the beginning, I didn't know this, and it was a little stressful, and I wasn't sure why these things were happening. So as a sensation magician, I want to give you permission to allow yourself to feel that and presence it. And what that might look like is, when I feel the energy of what you're saying in my body, I feel this sense that you're really guarding your heart. Can you tell me more about that? Or when you say that, I feel it in the pit of my stomach. Do you get that? Does that feel true for you? Or, as soon as you started talking about that particular thing, I got an ache in my right shoulder. Does it feel like you're shouldering a burden here? Tell me more about that. So that's how sensation magic can start to bring truth to the space. Vibration magic is another one of the sourced magics. Vibration magicians often see who someone is, the vibration of who they are at a soul level. And then there's how someone is showing up. So if you have vibration magic, you probably get this, where there's like the higher expression of the soul vibration of the person, and you have a sense of the essence of it, but then maybe they're showing up in victim energy or in conflict energy, and you can also sense that as well. So would you bring to the space in the right moment in the conversation something like, I see your soul as, and describe the vibration, yet how you're presenting right now is, and describe that vibration, right? And it could be that you have words to describe the vibration, or it could be that it's a sound or like a guttural expression that you use to describe the vibration. You may also find, I have had this happen in calls. Vibration, it hasn't been my strongest, but everything's vibration, right? I've had this in calls where I've had a certain client, and every time I get on the phone with them, maybe my throat starts to get tight, or I feel a certain vibrational sense around me, and eventually start to notice it's connected to that person. So maybe you would say, normally my vibration feels kind of like this, and I notice on our calls it feels like this. Now you have to be able to say that with no judgment, right? Just like a noticing, because this is really helpful information. By the way, a prerequisite to being able to say this is being clear that it is connected or coming through for the client and it's not you. So in addition to having a client who's super committed, you want to make sure you're keeping your energy field clear so that you know that it's the client, right? And it's not you. By the way, there are ways we can check this, and we teach all of that. Okay. So the next magic is expression magic. Expression magic is a channeling of a message. It could be a channeling of a vibration or a color or a song or whatever, but it's basically source coming through. So it's not you in your logical mind. It's not you thinking or even feeling about it. It's just coming through. So if you have a lot of expression magic, and a lot of times, I know for me, my expression magic is really wanting my attention right now in this season. And so I'm learning to work with it. And it can feel a little nerve-wracking because you don't know what's going to come out of your mouth. So what you might say with a client in this situation is, let me just speak to this for a minute and allow a message to come through. You're not going to know what it's going to be. And then you'll pause and say, what resonates about that? Or how is that landing for you? So you are always checking back in and bringing the client with you. Expansion magic is this ability to see something expanded, right? The 10x version of someone's idea or of someone's thought process or someone's pattern even. And so you want to get, again, with permission in a container where you have permission, you want to ask. There's an expanded version of you, of this idea, of your project, of your business that I see. Could I share that with you? And then share all of what you see and then come back and check in. What do you hear? Right? You want to say there's no pressure to act or to want this or to see this. This is the key for expansion magic. There's no pressure to act on this, but what do you hear? Is there anything in this that sparks something for you? Right? Because a lot of times expansion magic can have trouble. They'll either fire hose someone with all of what's possible in a way that they actually can't connect and it shuts them down. Or the opposite, they might have conditioned themselves to actually hold it back because people don't like to hear all of that, right? And so in this stage in the conversation with a client, being able to just share all of it and then come back to what do you hear in that is really, really valuable. I'm thinking about how in coaching school, we don't really learn, at least I didn't learn, to be able to offer what was coming through for me, right? It was very much ask the open-ended questions, get the client to see it for themselves. And that's awesome. And I'm glad I learned those skills. There's a way in which Source is wanting to work with and through you that if you can share it when the client can be receptive to it, it's a beautiful gift. Compassion magic is the fifth one. And compassion magic is this heart energy. So a compassion magician in a moment of transformational opportunity might say something like, ooh, when you said blank, my heart felt blank, right? Expanded, shut down, nervous, fluttery, warm. A compassion magician might also kind of witness a part of the client that they're not seeing. Remember, bringing truth to the space is all about what's hidden from the view. So they might say, I'm feeling so much love and compassion for the 6-year-old version of you that made that decision to, stay small, to keep your mom feeling comfortable with you. So you're bringing in this idea of compassion and deep, deep compassion, and you're honoring something that they may not even know is there in themselves. Another place that compassion can show up is in boundary setting. And it could be something like, the boundary I would set for you, if I were in charge, if I had a magic wand, the boundary I'd set for you is blank, right? So you're using that heart space, and that compassion magic is like a fierce protective energy, and letting them know how you see it, right? How you're perceiving what's going on for them. The last type of magic is recognition magic. And recognition magic is all about seeing the patterns. And so with recognition magic, if you're wanting to offer it in a moment where you can help your client see a truth, it might be something like this. When you said blank, it makes me think of the past time when you said blank, right? Or X and Y, this and that, feel like the exact same energy, even though they seem totally different. Do you feel that? Right? Again, you're checking back in with them. Or this is the third time that I've heard you use the word blank. I'm curious about that. What's that word mean to you? Or what's that about for you? Or every time you talk about your mom or your job or your partner, or it said money, your voice does blank. Your voice gets a little lower. I feel tight. You seem tight in your throat, or you whisper a little bit. And you're looking at that pattern and you're bringing that forward. What's going on with that? Can we explore that? Okay, so just to recap, there are 6 types of sourced magic, and each one is a way of accessing and experience a truth with your client. And when I say truth, there's the small t truth, which is the lie that you believed, right? And it's hidden from your view. And then there's the capital T truth, which is like a soul truth. And your magic can kind of pick up on each, and you need to decide as a practitioner whether you're, more apt to share the big T truth, the small T truth, both. We teach all of that based on magic type. But what I really am hoping you take away is in those conversations, the willingness to bring that truth forward and to really trust that your magic, your inner knowing, is saying something about this, and it's saying something about this for a reason. I know for me, the first time I was feeling something in my body and I said it to a client, I felt so nervous that they were going to think I was crazy, right? Or like, what is this thing that she's talking about? And over time, the more I bring it forward, and there's an art to that, and people are able to receive it, there's such a deep, deep value in something that's coming through your knowing that you can see that your client can't, right? Because it's just the water they swim in. They've been living in it maybe forever, but you can perceive it. And it's such an intimate and tender process to go there and support someone in seeing what they haven't seen and helping them to shift their energy field for their entire rest of their life. Like, what's the value of that? And when we don't do this, right, and we skirt around the truth that we are getting loud and clear, then we're missing the opportunity to show up and serve the way we're meant to. And that's where the client relationship starts to get funky. And you're not saying the thing, you're hoping they'll figure it out. And that could go on for a long time. And the heaviness associated with that, and the stagnation, and then the not wanting to actually bring in more clients because it feels even more heavy to have more clients. That's the ripple effect of this. And so you might be stagnating because you're just nervous to say what's there. And I hope that this video is helpful, that you've identified one of the ways that your magic comes through and you can practice with your client in the right scenario. Again, if you want support, there's the Source to Magic quiz to help you identify what your magic is. And then I have my upcoming Activate Your Magic retreat that's live here in Colorado in September. And in that, you can play with your different magics. You can practice letting them come through, being received, seeing how your intuition is showing up with other people in the space. So we build your muscle and your confidence to bring more magic into the work with your clients. And by the way, that's what clients pay the most money for. That's what really gets the results. This is Darla LeDoux. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you in the next video.